Assalamu alaikum dear students, hope all of you are doing well. Let's start. As you remember, we are studying this monohybrid cross. Monohybrid cross, simply that cross in which only single character is observed during the process of breeding experiment. And Mendel chose that character, plant size or plant height, which has two traits normally. One is the tall and another is the dwarf. And when Mendel started the cross, he simply took two plants, but they were pure line. One of the plant was tall plant having both the alleles in homozygous condition, and another plant was simply dwarf plant, but again pure, having both the alleles of gene in same form. Then he simply cross pollinated those two plants. Those two types of plants were cross pollinated by the Mendel by simply formation of the gametes will be there first. But when gametes will be formed, the condition of gametes, that gametes are always haploid. For that purpose, you will see out of two alleles of a gene, only one allele will move into one gamete and another allele will move into the another gamete. Same applies to this dwarf plant. There will be formation of two types of gametes, but both gametes will be same, and here both types of gametes will also be same. These are homogametes. These are homogametes. Homogametes means same type of gametes. Fine. I hope you are remembering the cross. Then when they were finally cross pollinated, there was formation of a new generation which was called as F1 generation. As F1 generation. That means first filial generation, first daughter generation. After that there is the next step of cross. Now Mendel simply self-pollinated the F1 generation plant. I repeat, after cross pollination, the formation of new generation of plants were observed. All the plants showed one phenotype, and that was all the plants were tall in height. Why? Because there was the dominant allele present in all these genotypes of the plants. Now in second step, what Mendel did, it was simply self-pollination. He took one of the plants here like this one, he took this plant, and same plant was self-pollinated, and we will represent it like this, because we can't take plant here, we have to take the same genotype. If we are taking this plant or this or this or that one, we have to represent same genotype here as well as here, then only it will be self-pollination. They simply will go for the self-pollination again by the same procedure. These are now F1 plants. F1 plants were self-pollinated, but before self-pollination, as it is sexual reproduction, there will be again gamete formation. There will be again gamete formation, and gametes will be formed like this, capital T, and another type of gametes will be having small t. Same applies here. Same applies here. We have one of the types of gametes having one allele, that is capital T, and another having small t allele. Here these two types of gametes are not same, but they are different. They are called as heterogametes or heteromorphic gametes. Same are here. These are also heteromorphic gametes. That means these two types of gametes are different. Here they were same. Here they were same, because these 50% of gametes will simply have the allele capital T, and these have the same. Same applies here. These 50% types of gametes were same because they were having the same allele of the trait. But here we have 50% gametes this and 50% gametes this. Same applies to this plant. But these are heterogametes or heteromorphic gametes. That means 50% of gametes possess one allele of the gene which is in this form, and another 50% of gametes possess another allele of the gene, but that is in different form, not in same form. Then again simply cross. Cross will be, I will represent here, these two gametes I will represent like this, capital T and small t. Then another two gametes I will represent here, capital T and small t, like this. This time I am taking these two gametes and representing here on this side, and these two gametes I am representing on this side. Now simple cross, this and this will be T, T, capital T, capital T. Then this and this one, this will be T and small t. Then this one and this one, there will be again capital T, small t. And lastly, this will be crossed with this type of gamete, it will be small t, small t. This was the result of self-pollination. And if you observe, there is different phenotype in these plants from the F1 generation. This will be called as F2 generation. F2 generation. F2 generation simply means second daughter generation. Second daughter generation. But if you keenly observe, genotype of these plants have capital T, capital T. That means these plants will be pure tall like this. These plants will be pure tall like this parent pure plant. Then this type of plants having this genotype, these plants will be tall, but these plants will be hybrid tall because they possess heterozygous condition like these F1 generation. They possess heterozygous condition. That means there is one of the allele which is expressing called as dominant allele and another allele which is suppressed called as recessive allele. Same F1 plants will be observed here in this type of genotype. These plants will be tall, but these will be hybrid tall. Then coming to this third one, these type of plants will be also having tall phenotype, but again hybrid tall. When we observe the genotype, it will be heterozygous condition, and they will have simply tall height, but they are actually hybrid talls. And lastly, these type of plants, these will be again dwarf, and that too pure dwarf, like that of the parent generation, That means in F2 generation, the recessive traits again expressed themselves. That was the main aim of Mendel for second step of this cross, that he wants to observe what will happen to this recessive trait. Will it get expressed in the F2 generation or it will not express totally in the cross? But when we observe the cross F2 generation, when we observe, we get the recessive traits again expressing. If we see these types of plants when observed, they show phenotypic ratio that is 3:1. They show phenotypic ratio 3:1. That means 3 plants are tall phenotypically and 1 plant is dwarf phenotypically. But it doesn't apply to 4 plants. It applies whatever the number of plants we are taking. If Mendel simply took 1000 plants, you will see 900 plants will show tall phenotype and 100 plants will show dwarf phenotype in F2 generation. If this is not a round figure, it is fraction figure, still there will be the same ratio when we are performing the monohybrid cross. We will see F2 generation will show phenotypic ratio as 3:1. 3 portions of the plants will be tall and 1 portion of the plants will be dwarf. But when we observe the genotype, of these plants, we will see the ratio will be in this form: 1:2:1, 1:2:1. One of the portion of plants will show pure tall genotype, that is heterozygous condition, capital T, and 2 portions will show hybrid genotype, that is capital T and small t, and one of the portion will show again genotype, it will be homozygous, but it is dwarf. That is genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. Hybrid talls will be double in number and pure talls will be simply having single portion in the cross, and pure dwarf will possess again single portion in the cross. This is the phenotypic ratio of monohybrid cross and this is the genotypic ratio of monohybrid cross. Until and unless these rules, Mendelian genetics we are following, we will see this ratio will never ever change. Whatever the number of plants you are taking, or whether you are taking Pisum sativum or any other plant, this ratio will never change. This ratio will never change until we are going through Mendelian genetics. Ratio will be always same, that is phenotypic ratio will be 3:1 and genotypic ratio will be 1:2:1. I hope this monohybrid cross is clear to you. When you will finally observe this whole cross, there are some conclusions, there are some results, there are some conclusions or there are some results. When Mendel observed these monohybrid cross, because it's not only one attempt that Mendel went through this monohybrid cross, there were number of attempts, number of generations were formed, they were observed, and another second filial generation will observed number of times, and finally when the same results were coming from every type of breeding experiment, simply after that Mendel made some conclusions. One of the conclusion was simply, the first conclusion based upon monohybrid cross was simple law of pair of unit factors. This was actually the conclusion drawn from the monohybrid cross. This was the result, that when we observe this monohybrid cross, there is some result coming out, and these results were after that simply given law. They were simply given as laws because they formed the base of the genetics, especially Mendelian genetics. The first conclusion or the first law which was simply observed from the monohybrid cross was law of pair of unit factors. What does it mean? Law of pair of unit factor states that every character in an individual or organism is governed by a pair of unit factors. I repeat, according to law of pair of unit factors, that every character in an individual or organism is governed by a pair of unit factors. If you observe the cross, character here we have height. This character height is controlled, is governed by a pair of unit factor. This is unit factor, this is unit factor. Unit means single, factor. Factor is the term which Mendel actually used at that time for allele. This time we know that every phenotype is controlled by a genotype, and genotype has two alleles. One of the allele comes from mother and another allele comes from father. Fine. But when Mendel performed the experiment, that genetics was not so much advanced. At the time, Mendel simply used the term allele. Mendel simply used the term factor for allele. Nowadays, we call that factor as allele. Like we say that every character in an individual or organism is controlled or governed by a pair of alleles. But when Mendel simply performed the cross, he gave the statement like this, that every character or trait in an individual or living organism is controlled or governed by a pair of unit factors. Then what happened? Simply the term factor was replaced by the term allele. This was the first conclusion which was simply drawn from the monohybrid cross, that every character, whether it is height or it's any other character, like we can take another example, that is shape of seed of pea plant. Shape of seed of pea plant is a character, and its trait is simply round or wrinkled. Round simply means smooth, round, spherical. Wrinkled means simply hanging wrinkled shape, like this. When we see this character, for controlling this phenotype, shape of seed, it will be controlled by a pair of unit factors. Pair means two. Unit factor is the allele. This time we call as factor as allele. That means every character, every phenotype in a living organism is controlled or governed by a pair of alleles or by a pair of unit factors. This was the first conclusion drawn from the monohybrid cross, and this was called as law of pair of unit factors. Fine. Then the second conclusion from the same monohybrid cross was that law of segregation of gametes, law of segregation of gametes, or we call it as law of purity of gametes, law of purity of gametes. What does it mean? It simply means during gamete formation, the simple pair of allele separates, the pair of allele which governs a particular phenotype separates at the time of gamete formation, so that each gamete will get one allele for one trait or character. I repeat, law of purity of gametes or law of segregation of gametes simply states that at the time of gamete formation, the pair of alleles or the pair of unit factors simply separate so that each gamete will get one allele or unit factor for one character, That means when there is gamete formation, as I have shown in the cross, you will see each gamete will get at least one allele, for one character, because gametes are always haploid. That means at the time of gametes, the trait governing unit factors are simply separating, so that each gamete will get one allele for one trait or one character. I hope it's clear to you. This was called as law of purity of gametes or law of segregation of gametes. And lastly, the third conclusion, again drawn from the same monohybrid cross, was law of dominance. Law of dominance states that when a pair of unit factors are in heterozygous condition, the allele which expresses itself is the dominant allele, and the allele which is suppressed by the dominant allele is recessive allele. Like here in F1 generation, or if we see in F2 generation, we have these two types of plants. They are having genotype as heterozygous condition, that is capital T and small t. Which of the allele is expressing itself? Only one allele is expressing itself. The allele which expresses itself in heterozygous condition is called as dominant allele, and the allele which gets suppressed by the dominant allele, which is not able to express its expression, is called as recessive allele, and this was called as law of dominance. All these three laws were simply observed, were simply concluded from the monohybrid cross. And later on we will see, when Mendel went through other breeding experiments, there was simply other conclusions, and all these conclusions, all these results were simply used as laws in the world of genetics, because they formed the base of genetics, and these laws are collectively called as rules for inheritance or rules of inheritance. Inheritance means simply moving characters from one generation to another generation. For that purpose there are some rules, and those rules are actually these laws which were simply concluded from the monohybrid cross. But these are not the only three rules which are simply governed during the process of inheritance. There are other laws, other rules as well, but collectively these laws are simply called as rules for inheritance or rules of inheritance. I hope you got the conclusions of the monohybrid cross as well as the monohybrid cross. Please go through it again on your notebook so that you will get exactly what this cross means. I hope it's clear to you. Thank you. Inshallah, next time we will see another breeding experiment. Till then, stay safe, stay good.